What's going on, guys? Welcome back to another video. I'm Matt over at DSR, and today I'm back at Whole Shot taking out this Kawasaki's Ninja 650. We're going to get on, start the ride. We will pull over and have a little walk around, don't worry. But for now, let's just get on and ride it. Let's start us off with the engine in this bike then. This is the 649cc parallel twin engine, producing 68 brake horsepower with 64 Newton meters of torque. Luckily for those younger riders, this bike is A2 compliant, so if you do want to have this bike on an A2 license, you can. So far through town, this engine is nice and smooth. There's no vibrations on handlebars or the pegs. I'm getting a little bit of sensation in the crotch area, but I am quite a big lad, so I'm probably just not sitting in the right position. I'm dominating this seat. It's definitely lively enough. Like, you twist that throttle and you do start going. It's got a nice amount of pickup. The throttle isn't snatchy. Third gear, just trying to keep it in and around the 30 miles an hour. There is no quick shifter on this bike currently, but that's something you can easily add on aftermarket. I think nowadays I'm so used to quick shifters, I just like having them on bikes. Looking at the technology on this bike, there pretty much isn't anything. But this is the first TFT screen Kawasaki have put on their 650 class range. It's nowhere near the bigger screen, but you know what? It's clear, it's visible. It's a really bright day today, and you can see the screen perfectly. At the minute, I've got it in black mode, but you can push and hold the button on the bottom right hand side, and that will turn the screen over into white mode. There aren't any rider modes to talk about. This bike has traction control and ABS, and that's it. Zoe took out the Honda Hornet the other day, and that is a similar price range to this, and I think even cheaper, to be honest, by a good £500–600. That had rider modes. I think nowadays manufacturers need to start putting a bit more tech into their middleweight bikes. I know some people out there don't like the tech and like, oh, give me an old school car, but move on with the time. We're not looking 15–20 years ago. We expect tech, we expect TFTs, we expect LEDs. So I think it's about time Kawasaki started bringing in some of the tech from the ZX-10 down to their lower range. But not having that extra tech won't take away how this bike makes you feel. If you want this bike to go, you twist that throttle and for a 650, she's alright, you know. Only 68 brake, but you couldn't tell. This bike would be some serious fun on track, I can say that right now. I'm 6'1", 115 kilos, and do I feel cramped? My knees are quite a tight triangle from the pegs to the knees to the bum. It is quite tight. Doesn't necessarily feel like there's masses of room. I'm not super duper cramped and bent over like I'm on a proper sports bike. From the seat, from my top half to the handlebars, this is actually a really nice comfortable riding position. There's a little bit of weight on the wrist, but not too much. Do you know what I mean? It's where it's meant to be. It's where it's designed to be. It's not that sports bike. It's not a naked bike. You've got your risers on this, and it's just comfortable. Okay, so I mentioned earlier about the lack of vibes. I'm in fourth gear, about 40–50 miles an hour. I was saying earlier there wasn't many vibes. That was in town. Now I'm on the back roads, fourth gear, 45–50 miles an hour. You can feel the slight vibrations, the high pitch vibrations coming through the handlebars, and my crotch as well. I don't know if the camera will pick it up, but I'm not a small lad, and my crotch is kind of touching the edge of the tank, and that's passing down some vibration. Not a particularly pleasant feeling. You know, if you're a younger rider, an inexperienced rider, or a shorter rider, this could be a really good platform for you to jump on. I think if you're a more experienced rider, you are going to want a bit more from an engine, but that's okay. Like, we need the middleweight bikes. We need people to learn how to ride first before jumping onto liter bikes. Mirrors are good. They're really far forward, so it kind of gets you have to get used to looking over there. But I've got about 3/4 of the mirror where I can see behind me. I've got to walk around on the bike, doing the sound test as well. As you can probably tell, this bike isn't complicated at all. No rider modes. It's got traction control, it's got ABS. It's just easy to ride. We do have a 15-litre fuel tank. It's going to give us around 150 miles per tank, so that's pretty good. It's not going to cost a lot to fill up as well. A combined weight, all in, good to go, of 193 kilos. I can tell you, you can't feel the weight of this bike at all. It's really light, it's really easy to handle, and it's just a perfect bike for the middleweight class of where it sits. Obviously, there are some optional extras. This bike does have the Acra can, so this is going to be the performance pack. And then the seat cowl on the rear. I think with these few optional extras, it just really finishes the bike off and just makes it look like a really good, nice looking bike that you're going to be proud to open your garage up to. We do have a seat height of 790mm. Remember, I'm 6'1", both feet obviously easily flat on the floor. This bike's going to be ideal for, like I said, the newer rider that's a little bit less confident, or especially a shorter rider. The tank is nicely shaped to your legs, but this is what I mean by about the triangle. So the foot pegs to the knee to the hip. It is quite a forced position in the sense there's not a whole lot of room to be moving around once you're in that riding style. Quick sound test then of this Acra can. It's okay for an Acra can. It's not the loudest exhaust, but it looks nice. Nice underslung, low profile exhaust on there. Well, let's jump back on the bike and finish off this review, and I'll give you my final thoughts and opinions. So, ignoring the performance pack, which is the can and the rear seat cowl, the Kawi green is going to set you back £7,800, and then if you want the black model, it's going to be a little bit cheaper at £7,650, which I think, in the grand scheme of things nowadays, with the way prices are going, it's not bad. It's not bad. I know there is a tourer option for this bike, and that's going to be around £8,500, and on that, the main thing is obviously going to be the luggage, saddlebags, and I think you get a bit of a taller screen as well. That would definitely be needed, because on the motorway this screen kind of does nothing. The wind is hitting me from kind of the middle of my chest all the way up, but that is why someone invented double bowl screens. I personally haven't ridden a lot of the other middleweight class, so the Honda Hornet 750, the CBR 650R. Normally, because Zoe likes to do those ones because they've got a lower seat height, so she feels comfortable, they're not too heavy, she feels like she can jump on it and ride it, no dramas. So I haven't got a massive catalogue of what I can compare this to. So the question I asked myself is, would I, as an experienced rider, riding over 12 years, plenty of different bikes, different style platforms, would I buy this bike? For my own personal bike of an everyday bike, I personally would need a little bit more out of an engine. I would, however, buy this bike to take on track, because it's light, it handles really nicely, and where it is so light you can just lean on those handlebars and it just drops in. Nice bit of counter steering. Where this bike is aimed at, and I think they do a really good job at it, is that beginner rider, less experienced, like I said, shorter rider. 790mm seat is pretty low in the game of motorcycles. Like city riding, it's quite narrow. Like I said, it's light and it's nimble, so you can cut through the traffic. Back roads, this is going to be where it excels. I wouldn't pick this bike if I was thinking of doing any long distance type of riding. I think the vibes at that same pitch, and then the wind protection, would kind of be my main problems. But that said, I have enjoyed the ride today. So as always, videos like this wouldn't be possible without the sponsors and supporters of the channel, so thank you very much. Whole Shop, if you do want to jump on one of those demo bikes, they've got Kawis and they've got KTMs, head on over, get yourself booked on and just enjoy it. Just take these bikes out. You never know what's going to float your boat, and you never know what you're going to like until you just get on and ride it. If you have enjoyed this video, please make sure you like and subscribe to the channel. Helps myself and Zoe out over at DSR massively. All there's left to say is ride safe.